Hello students, hearty welcome to Alan's tutorials. This is the English literature classes for the students of class 9 and 10 based on the ICSE pattern for the immediate preparation of your board and other examinations. Class is taken by Joseph, Little Flower School, Salempur. Let us learn the poem After Blenheim. This poem After Blenheim is written by Robert Southey. His lifespan was from 1774 to 1843. Let us understand the poet Robert Southey. Who was he? He was born in 1774 at Westminster, England. He became the poet laureate in 1813. He was a romantic poet and died in 1843. Let us get some introduction of this poem. It is an anti-war poem set in the site of the Battle of Blenheim 1704 with a question of two small children about a skull. Old Caspar gives an account of the war, saying it was a famous victory. Poem depicts common man's ignorance of the motives of war. The Battle of Blenheim, written by Robert Southey. It was written in 1798 about a battle that took place in 1704 when the British defeated the French and the Austrians. We need to understand the background of this poem a bit. It is an anti-war poem that centers on the most famous battle in the War of Spanish Succession. Blenheim is the English name for the German village of Blenheim, situated on the left bank of the Danube River in Bavaria in southern Germany. Keynotes of the poem. It is a summer evening and old Caspar sitting before his cottage door. Caspar's grandchild Peterkin is coming towards him rolling something large and round. Caspar tells him that it was the skull of a man who died in the war. Caspar finds many such skulls while he ploughs the field. Both Peterkin and Wilhelmine question their grandfather about the purpose of the war. Caspar tells the children that the English defeated the French. Caspar does not know why the English and French fought, but he only knows that it was a famous victory. As a result of the war, Caspar's father's house was also burned, which made them homeless. The victory of England led to the death of many pregnant mothers and newborn babies, as is the case with every war. Caspar tells the children that thousands of dead bodies lay rotten in the sun. The Duke and the Prince Eugene are praised, but Wilhelmine finds it wicked thing. Peterkin asks what good came of the war, but all Caspar could tell was that it was a famous victory. You will find beautiful image here. The first image to little children, Caspar is sitting there, Peterkin and Wilhelmine, they are asking something to their grandfather, and on the other side the skull with a textbook, maybe the history of that war. Again, next images you look, how the battle is going to take place. This is the real image of the Battle of Blenheim. Again, here you will find the two images of Prince of Eugene, the first image, and the Prince Marlborough. Let us read and understand this poem. It was a summer evening. Old Caspar's work was done, and he before his cottage door was sitting in the sun, and by him spotted on the green his little grandchild Wilhelmine. She saw her brother Peterkin roll something large and round, which he, besides the revolt in playing there, had found. He came to ask what he had found that was so large and smooth and round. Old Caspar took it from the boy, who stood expectant by, and then the old man shook his head and, with a natural sigh, "It's some poor fellow's skull," said he, "who fell in the great victory. I find them in the garden, for there's many hereabout, and often when I go to plough, the ploughshare turns them out, for many thousand men," said he, "were slain in that great victory." Now tell us what was all about, young Peterkin, he cries, and little Wilhelmine looks up with wonder-waiting eyes. Now tell us all about the war, and what they fought each other for. It was the English, Caspar cried, who put the French to rout. But what they fought each other for, I could not well make out. But everybody said, quoth he, that it was a famous victory. My father lived at Blenheim then, yon little stream hard by. They burned his dwelling to the ground, and he was forced to fly. So with his wife and child he fled, nor had he where to rest his head. With fire and sword the country round was wasted far and wide, and many a childing mother then a newborn baby died. But things like that, must be at every famous victory. They say it was a shocking sight after the field was won, for many thousand bodies here lay rotting in the sun. But things like that, must be after a famous victory. Great praise the Duke of Marlborough won, and our good Prince Eugene. Why, it was a wicked thing, said little Wilhelmine. Nay, nay, my little girl, quoth he, it was a famous victory, and everybody praised the Duke who this great fight did win. But what good came of it at last, quoth little Peterkin. Why, that I cannot tell, said he, but it was a famous victory. Let us understand the themes of this beautiful poem. Man's cruelty to man, curiosity and lack of it, complacency, then some hidden theme. It is an anti-war poem, and of course this poem indirectly tells us, say no to war. Let us understand the style of this poem after Blenheim. Form and structure, it is a ballad. It's a question-answer pattern. It is refrain, repetition of the lines, like it was a famous victory. It was a famous victory. Let us understand the rhymes of this poem. A, B, C, B, D, D pattern. The second line rhymes with the fourth and the last two lines rhymes with each other. Figures of speech used in this beautiful poem mainly. There are three figures of speech: alliteration, repetition and irony. These are the figures of speech used here. And of course you will find some critical remarks. It's a war poem, and of course it is an anti-war poem, and the background of the poem